All right, we're back. I told you I'd come back and we'd get back after restructuring the claim. And of course, we did our first claim. And, you might go a little more articulate with claim of harm by way of trespass. And again, that was for getting our docket number, if you recall and recollect. I deleted the document, so it's not like I have it anymore to pull it back up. But now we have a docket number, and for entertainment purposes, we'll go DOC 11-2022 CIV-US. Let's just say that's the docket number that was given to us by the clerk of the court when we first filed our claim to get our docket number, right? And then I told you what I like to do, whether it's right, wrong, or any different, is then I like to put together my claim. And I can see these lines are going to be all screwy. My apologies. I blew it up so everybody could see it. So again, the name of the court's up here. All the information for you is up here. And there's the information for the American Badass, which would be the claimant, whoever that is. Obviously, the claimant. We're not doing plaintiff, defendant, all that gobbledygook. Just claimant and wrongdoer. Wrongdoer, of course, is going to be John Doe Smith. And I'm going to lay out a scenario for you that's actually not too fucking far-fetched from what really happens, all right? You can argue semantics one way or the other. But again, my intent is just to show people how I lay things out, all right? So, a claim of harm by way of trespass, verified claim, the American Badass hereinafter, claimant. Okay, we're doing that to make sure that I don't have to keep doing this throughout, repetitiously over and over and over again. Saying it one time is more than enough. So hereinafter, we'll identify the American Badass as claimant. Okay, just simplifies shit. Brings claim against John Doe Smith. Hereinafter, again, instead of doing John Doe Smith every sentence or whatever, we're just going to go ahead and do wrongdoer, all right? And what's the purpose of the claim? It's for money damages, all right? That's why we're bringing the claim. It's for money damages and states, okay? So hereinafter, the claimant states, okay? Then we're going to get into the jurisdictional issues. So jurisdictional allegation. This is a claim for money damages in excess of a sum certain, 15,000 United States dollars. That's not what we're actually seeking. It's just stating that we're well in excess of the lower court's requirements. And we need to be in the federal venue because what we're asking for exceeds the state jurisdiction, if you will. Maybe that's true in your state, maybe it's not. Nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and give them another jurisdictional grounds for the reason that it's being brought in the venue that it's being brought into. All acts necessary or precedent to the bringing of this claim occurred in Marion County, Indiana. All right, so there's another reason that they have jurisdiction. We're going to go a little further. This court has jurisdiction pursuant to Title 28, subsection 1331, and I could add other stuff there too. I could go into state statutes and stuff and show that the court has jurisdiction through the state statutes if you want to embellish, if you will. Sometimes I think that it's good to be that thorough, but then again, sometimes less is more. We're going to go ahead and articulate the counts. Remember, the first procedure that we went through was just to get our docket number. Now we're going to go ahead and lay everything out because we have a docket number. And we're going to list out the 5 counts. Count 1, false arrest. Count 2, extortion. Count 3, assault and battery. Count 4, theft. Count 5, denial of due process. All right, so I just cooked up this little story in my head. This is all hypothetical, but when you listen to it, it will sound pretty realistic because let's just face it, this shit happens every fucking day, all right? On the 17th of May, 2022, claimant and wrongdoer were traveling down I-95, headed south, when wrongdoer who at times acts as a deputy sheriff, initiated a traffic stop. Okay, that's just a fact. All right, we're just doing the general facts at this point, and I don't know if you missed it. We'll scroll back up a little bit so you can see it. General facts. All right, this isn't about our semantics, how it made us feel like we had sand in our vaginas, or, you know, it upset my stomach. None of that shit is fucking relevant. I have people all the time send me shit that they're trying to get through the court, and I have a hard time being a nice guy about it. One, because coddling you guys doesn't do any fucking good for any of you. All right? Nobody cares how the fuck you felt about a motherfucking thing. I'm gonna be real with you. I used to write 90-page fucking bullshit documents, and my buddies all laughed at me. They're like, Derek, you really fucking think they care about the sand in your vagina? Get the fuck over it, buddy. They don't care. They want facts, and they want the law violated. That's it. They don't give a fuck about anything else. They don't care how Cindy Lou felt. They don't care what you think other people felt or how other people see you now. It's all hyperbole. It's all bullshit, and nobody cares. So it took me a long time to get over that shit. A long fucking time. But hopefully, through the school of hard knocks that I had to go through, you will soon learn that nobody gives a fuck. All right? About the semantics, about how you felt. Nobody fucking cares. All right? So number 9 is a sentence, and it's to the point, and it's point blank and simple. On the 17th of May 2022, we're identifying the date. Claimant and wrongdoer were traveling. We're identifying what the fuck they were doing. Down I-95, we're identifying the location. Headed south, in what direction? When wrongdoer, who at times acts as deputy sheriff. So now we're identifying him in his capacity, okay, as a deputy sheriff. The wrongdoer is still the wrongdoer. The deputy sheriff can't fucking hurt you. The wrongdoer who at time acts as a deputy sheriff is the wrongdoer, okay? And that's John Doe Smith. We've made that perfectly clear up at the top where it says here and after. Wrongdoer, John Doe Smith, here and after, wrongdoer. So everybody's on the same page. This is how they write their writs and do their charging allegations and all that good jazz. So it makes sense just to follow suit, all right? And again, the deputy sheriff can't cause you harm, just like the governor can't cause you harm. The state patrol can't cause you harm. Why, ladies and gentlemen? We've all been through this before. Get the sand out of your vagina. These are titles, and titles can't fucking hurt you. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but your titles can't bust my balls, all right? Get over it. Initiated a traffic stop, all right? So we've got that fact. Then we go to number 10. Number 10, a copy of the issued security traffic ticket is attached as Exhibit 1. Why are we attaching that citation or that traffic ticket or that security or that copy thereof? It's because of proof of the encounter, all right? That's something that agent and agency, John Doe Smith, who's our wrongdoer, who at times acts as a deputy sheriff, created his own evidence against him, okay? And we now have evidence of it. We're going to use that to our benefit. That's why when I get pulled over, which rarely ever happens, because I typically follow the road signs, and the older I get, the slower I go. People get so pissed off at me. You ought to see the 20-year-olds flying by me, giving me the middle finger because I'm doing 35 and a 40, and they are just livid about it. And I remember those days when I was in a big hurry and a big rush to get shit done because, you know, time's just ticking away. But now I'm kind of laid back, slow, old, and I'm not in a hurry to go to my grave just yet, right? Okay, so number 10, we're just identifying what evidence we have, and that we're going to label it Exhibit 1, and that's going to be the issued security, otherwise identified as a citation or traffic ticket, okay? Number 11, wrongdoer demanded license, registration, and proof of insurance. Now, everything that you're seeing in these brackets is not something that I would typically have on the page. I'm doing this for the viewing audience, all right? So you understand where I'm coming from and why I'm doing what I'm doing. That would be a violation of your Fourth Amendment, absent a crime. In order to constitute a crime, there must be a man or woman claiming harm, damage, injury, or loss, and it must be supported by oath or affirmation, and hopefully they actually have witnesses to go along with it that would constitute a crime, okay? Or a reason for them to detain you and stop you, because now, under the Sixth Amendment, you have the right to face your accuser. Prior to that, just simply pulling you over, demanding your license, registration, proof of insurance is bogus, all right? That's the enforcement of revenue generating codes, all right? They're out there trying to extort you, fleece you, under the guise and pretense that you're engaged in commerce, okay? And that right there violates your Fourth Amendment. You don't have any reason to give any of these people any of this shit, okay? Unless, and we'll get to it. So that's number 11. Number 12, and again, I just drew this shit up in my head based upon some of the experiences I've had and what I see out there, all right? Number 12, claimant inquired, okay, remember claimant is the American badass, hereinafter, claimant, asked a question, what crime had been committed? So what the claimant's asking is what reasonable, articulable suspicion, RSA, supported by a reasonable articulable fact, RAF, that wrongdoer had firsthand knowledge claimant had committed a crime granting rise to identify. All right, you always have to be engaged in a crime in order to be forced to identify. Otherwise, you can set back on the Fourth Amendment. That protects your unalienable right not to identify unless you have been accused of violating the law, which would be violating somebody else's rights, okay? 13, wrongdoer demanded claimant produce said documents or claimant would be subject to. That constitutes threat, duress, and coercion from the wrongdoer, okay? Wrongdoer says, if you don't give me this, this is what's going to happen to you. That's threat, duress, and coercion. Not quite extortion yet. I guess it could constitute as extortion. If you wanted to push the extreme, you could probably get it off. But to be on the safe side, we're just going to call it threat, duress, and coercion. All right. 14. Claimant inquired again what crime was committed. Again, we're asking for the RSA and the RAF, reasonable articulable suspicion supported by a reasonable articulable fact that wrongdoer had firsthand knowledge claimant had committed a crime granting rise to identify. At this point, we go to number 15. 15. Wrongdoer then ordered claimant out of automobile and handcuffed said claimant. Now, the act of ordering somebody out of a car is not battery, but the second he puts his hands on you is battery. It constitutes assault and battery. Then, by putting you in handcuffs and moving you from one location to the next constitutes kidnapping, okay? I don't care if it's an inch or a fucking mile. Moving somebody against their will from one place to another constitutes kidnapping. It's also false arrest and false imprisonment. And we've been through the treaties on arrest and false imprisonment by Charles A. Wiseman, and we'll go through it again, but I want you to understand that's what happens, okay? When you're moving somebody from a place where they're comfortable and wish to be to a place they don't wish to be, that's a false arrest, okay? That's kidnapping, false imprisonment. And the battery comes when they touch your body and put cuffs on you and take you from one area to another, which constitutes assault and battery, which are normally tied together, although they're two very separate and distinguished things, legally speaking. 16. Claimant was placed in wrongdoer's patrol car, kidnapping, false arrest, false imprisonment again. 17. Claimant demanded 3 times to be taken immediately before the magistrate judge. That's what we call, ladies and gentlemen, due process of law. If you're going to deny anybody their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, you must take them immediately before the magistrate if you don't already have a grand jury indictment or warrant for their arrest. That's due process of law. So that's where the due process of law violation comes in, okay? 18. Wrongdoer then contacted a towing agency and had claimant's automobile towed from the highway. That's theft by taking. Now you could call it grand theft auto. There's a number of things, but just typically theft will suffice, all right? 19. Wrongdoer then took claimant to local jail for booking purposes. fingerprints, photographs, and fancy new clothes. Everybody's got to love that shit, right? Well, that's actually a violation of the 8th Amendment, United States Constitution, cruel and unusual punishment. It's also found in all 50 state constitutions, and it also constitutes a denial of due process of law. Why? Because the claimant originally stated 3 times that he wished and desired to be taken before a magistrate immediately per due process of law. Before you deprive me of my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, I have a right to be before a magistrate where both of us can be heard. All right. And by skipping ahead and taking me to fingerprints, photographs, and fancy new clothes, okay, which constitutes cruel and unusual punishment, it also constitutes denial of due process of law. And by doing these things, they show their intent. By fingerprints, photographs, and fancy new clothes, they show their intent was never to take you before a magistrate first and foremost, but rather to collect from having you booked into their facilities. Okay. Now, we go to number 20. Claimant demanded to make a phone call. And again, this is all just hypothetical, but in reality, it happens every day. All right. And I'm just wanting to show you how I structure a claim for a harm that's been caused by way of trespass. Okay. Wrongdoer stated if claimant complied with booking procedures and signed the traffic ticket and all documents presented, claimant would be granted 1 call. If claimant refused to comply, claimant would not be allowed to make a phone call. Okay, this is what the wrongdoer conveyed to the claimant. Okay, the American badass. All right, and wrongdoer, while doing this, is actually engaging in what we call extortion. Okay. He's saying, if this, then that. If you don't do this and you don't go along to get along and you don't sign this ticket and you don't cooperate with the booking procedures and you refuse to do fingerprints, photographs, and sign the relevant documents for booking purposes, then I'm not going to give you a call. But if you comply with everything, then I'll give you your phone call. That's extortion. Okay. So we're just identifying the crimes, the violation of your unalienable rights. 22. Claimant did comply under duress with booking and signed all documents wherein claimant was granted the ability to make a phone call. Now, do you notice? I didn't go into the semantics of how it made me feel or why it gave me sand in my vagina and made me feel like I'd stared at the end of a welding rod for 12 hours and put sand in my eyeballs. No. We're just simply stating the facts. That's it. All right. Because again, nobody gives 2 flying fucks about how you feel, Scooter. All right. Wherefore, claimant seeks remedy in the form of some certain $300 on counts 1 through 5. I declare, this is from Title 28, 1746, 1. Okay, I declare, certify, verify, or state under the penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed and signed. It's really that simple. And if you want, you can go ahead and add yourself a little notary page and you can sign it before a notary if you like. Okay. So this would be submitted to the court. Again, remember our first one was just a claim of harm by way of trespass, and that's how we're getting our docket number. And now we're going ahead and we're moving forward with our verified claim, okay? And we're itemizing it and detailing it as such. Now, with this, we will launch an affidavit. Okay. An affidavit is where you're going to actually state detail by detail by detail how everything occurred to the best of your recollection. You're going to sign it under the pains and penalties of perjury, facing 1 year in jail or a $10,000 fine. Okay. And you're going to let the court know that you're putting up some liability here. You got some fucking skin in the game, Scooter. You're facing going to jail if you fraudulently bring a claim against another man, causing him harm, damage, or loss. And not only that, but you're also putting skin in the game saying that you're liable if you can't prove this claim. All right. Now there's some elements that you have to meet in order to substantiate this information, false arrest, extortion, assault and battery, theft, denial of due process of law, they all have elements that you have to meet. You're going to meet them elements, okay, in your affidavit. You're going to make sure all those elements are there, okay? And for the most part, you've made sure those elements are here. But again, just throw that shit right out the fucking window. Nobody, hey, if you've been married for the last 5 years, just ask your wife if she gives a fuck. She'll tell you she don't give a fuck. She don't care how you feel, Scooter. You better take out the trash come Friday morning, because it goes out Friday mid-afternoon. And she rightly don't give a damn about how you feel about getting up an extra half hour early to get the trash out. She don't care. Just like the judge don't care about how you feel. Your wife don't care about what you have a duty to do around the house. She don't care. All right. She cooks, she cleans, she does all this stuff. Your job is trash detail, and she don't care how you feel about it. So anyway, this was just a little skit laid out by me with everything I got crammed in my head. It's a hypothetical situation. You guys can go back through there, but you can see what I did. Wherefore claimant seeks remedy in the form of some certain. Now, this is something that was pointed out to me by Mr. Anonymous, and this is why I love this man so much. Some certain. Them two magical motherfucking words right there, bibbity bobbity fucking boo, all right, alakazam, make this instrument negotiable, okay? That's some magic shit right there in the air. And you ain't never gonna see a lawyer do that shit right there. I guarantee it. You're not gonna see that. So that's from me to you with lots of love, trying to help you guys out, form your claims, and make shit happen. Again, this is putting you under Title 28, 1746-1. Very, very important, because you'll see the laws of the United States of America. Not the United States, but the United States of America, because your domicile is in the 10th motherfucking amendment. Can I get an amen? Now, I hope this helps you out. Maybe later I'll go ahead and I'll draw up an affidavit to go with this, so you can see all the sand that's in my vagina. I'll write up an affidavit, and you can see how whiny and cry I can be, like a sniveling little snot, in an affidavit, which really isn't necessary. Just the facts in an affidavit is all that it takes. But making a verified claim with an allonged affidavit to it gives it the real fucking Montanga, all right? Put some fucking lead in your pencil, baby. Right there, all right? So, with that said, I love you all. Thank you for all your support. I really appreciate all the comments on the gout. I've been jotting them down. Make no mistake about it, I'm going to have to change my diet. You guys probably stuck with me for an extra 5 years once I changed my food intake. So hope that doesn't, put a bend in your sombrero. But anyway, I probably add 5 years to my life eating healthy. So anyway, that's how you do it right there. And you don't have to do it this way. You do it any fucking way you want. But I'll tell you one thing, they will take you really, really fucking serious if you structure this shit like this. All right, it ain't a joke, it ain't a game, and they'll realize that you're here to play fucking ball. And they'll recognize the fact that you have ascended of the mind to such a degree that you can actually state your claim without sounding like a 6-year-old toddler. All right? So with that said, I love you. We'll talk to you soon.